Yep. Who the hell is this? Is this the guy? No, it's not the guy. Okay. What?
I'm swifting through, you arguing with a random.
Oh, the guy, right? From Brazil, or I don't know where he's from.
Last, supposedly.
Yeah, you saw that, right? Like,
well, I'm seeing it now, but I don't want to bother to read everything.
He doesn't get it. Like, he doesn't realize that what I'm saying is independent of it being me. It doesn't matter that he's arguing with me. He should just be arguing with the substance that I'm saying. But it's like he can't comprehend that. It's like his peasant, feeble mind can't entertain the logic or rationale. So, like, obviously, I condescendingly so say, like, oh, you should play games like poker and, like, go play roulette and stuff with, like, how your brain works. Right? Because these are the nonsense that actually just make casinos, the super engines that they are. Because of the way that, like, they reach conclusions. It's like I'm dealing with a flat earther.
Yeah, I think you have a slight higher chance of convincing those people of their fallacies if you stuck to, like, just pure logic rather than calling them a flat earther. But, you know, everyone has their own shtick, so...
But what's the point of trying to convince these people? What are they worth?
If that's the premise, then you shouldn't converse with them at all.
But there is no premise because they come at me first. What do you mean? Someone who comes at me showing absolutely no respect deserves none in kind. I'm not going to give them any respect. I'll give them a courtesy of a reply, but I'm not giving them any respect. I'll step on their fucking throat.
Well, you're giving the dude a platform almost, which ultimately, no offense to this guy, is random. It matters of, like, pure metric. It matters of, like, follower number.
No, sure, but I'll entertain anyone to converse with me. It's never been about that about me. I've remained very, like, consistent in that about my character over the last decade in League. I'll talk to anyone. It's not about who you are. It's mostly about, like, what are you saying? But if someone comes at me and the what?
You have too much time on your hands.
Sure, well, I mean, I'm mostly doing it, like, in bed to, like, pass time, you know what I mean? But, like, mostly, like, what I'm trying to get at here is if someone comes at me and there's no respect from the beginning, they're not getting any respect in kind. And then if they're not using any logic, or if they're using, like, fallacies, then, like, I can attempt to say what I'm still saying, right? Which is what I was trying to do to that guy. I was trying to get him to answer questions, but he wasn't answering questions. He was gish-galloping, and he was just talking about things that had nothing to do with his main point. And then I would ask more questions, and he would avoid the questions, because by answering the questions, he would defeat his own points. Oh, stop using the word meta like this. Oh my god, this is part of the problem, man. Worlds has millions of fucking viewers, and we're using language this way, so it only continues to perpetuate. Oh my god.
I think that's going to be the success where you can then lean into those team fights later.
Language is so important. Such a responsibility by casters and everyone to, like... It's so sick. That is not changing. These champions haven't changed. It's the same fucking patch. There's no... Like... Meta stands for most efficient tactic available. The most efficient tactic available has always and will always be to fucking respond to what the opponent is doing and layer it. Jesus fucking Christ. What?
I mean, I feel like the meaning of that word is basically
the meaning of the word seems to, like, it seems like people actually don't know what the word means, but that is what it does mean.
I mean, it's the dictionary term, quote unquote, but most people in context don't really use it in that way.
Okay, sure.
What people mostly mean by meta when they hear the word meta, or what they want to use, is just like what's the most popular.
Yeah, we'll just say strategies. The strategies are changing. That's more apt for what's actually happening. The meta isn't changing. The most efficient tactic is not changing. It's actually false to fucking say that. So what they're doing is they're perpetuating the narrative that something is changing or altering in the game, and it's not. It is the same patch. And 1319 was virtually identical to 1318, which was also virtually identical to 1317, which was also virtually identical to 13-16. And League of Legends is very akin to Warcraft 3 and StarCraft 1 and StarCraft 2 and Warcraft 2 and all these other things, because those games had maps that released every 2 fucking months. And because those maps released every 2 fucking months, the build orders, the building placement, the unit compositions, the timing of taps, the distance between fucking bases, where you put your units, where you positioned them, where they were most effective, how they dealt their damage, the high ground, the low ground, the fucking low ground, etc. All these things constantly changed and altered the pro players' builds and everything, the same way that the microscopic fucking changes that Riot likes to call patch notes happens in League of Legends. League of Legends has been a very fucking static game for a really long time, and it is nauseating and mind-numbing and fucking almost paralyzing the way that people use certain language that just continues to recycle and just go round and round and round in fucking loops, and no one actually cares about what is actually accurate. There's no accuracy in regards to determining what is actually best. It's all social conformity and mostly a popularity contest. Why do you think yesterday featured all the ADC supports down in bot lane? Because those teams were getting their fucking assholes caved open by probably Keria scrimming against him. That's probably what happened. So now it's social conformity because T1 is just simply winning. Does that inherently mean that the champion picks that Keria is doing is actually just the best? No, it probably doesn't, because they weren't actually trying to devise answers to what was happening. They were just going along with the flow. They don't even understand it. They're just simply using it. And someone who doesn't understand something but opts to use it will never actually be in full control or gain full power over it. So what does this even matter? And these aren't even fucking, these aren't like, you know, unfounded concepts. These aren't revelations or anything. They've existed forever, right? They've existed in other games that date back hundreds of years and other types of things. These types of ideologies and they exist in games that don't even have to do with games. They exist in like other areas of life. But for some reason, because of the way that League of Legends is, and because of the way that pro players generally come to be, and the training environments that lead to the creation of pro players, and then the way that coaches and staff and whatnot are hired, and the way that they're cultivated, and the way that all of these infrastructures are built up, and the managements and all this other type of fucking shit, you get this absolute shit flow system that just continues to recycle without any regards to accuracy. And everyone sits around and everyone wonders, you know, what can we do? Even though the reality is that most of the answers are demonstrable, but no one cares about demonstrations. And I don't know why no one cares about demonstrations. And again, this is why I was memeing the stuff with Crowny yesterday so much on stream, and I'm actually really glad that he was willing to just, like, take the meme, but also even he brought it up first. He told me that ADC supports wouldn't appear at Worlds, and I told him that it doesn't make any sense, because they should be able to appear at Worlds, because logically the items have been changed and nothing actually happened that should have removed them from the meta. And we had that big argument about it in June, and then we talked about it again before Worlds, and he told me that it shouldn't be able to come back. But why shouldn't it be able to come back? You're being dishonest if you're saying that it shouldn't be able to come back. You're not doing your job as a pro player and actually looking at the balance changes and looking at what's happening inside of the games. Of course you should be able to assert that it should be able to come back if you're doing your fucking job and you're actually entertaining all of the variables and you're having honest, good faith discussions about what should and shouldn't be viable based on what is it answering, what is it responding to, why is it good, in what spots is it good, and in what ways can it lead or create advantages, and in what ways can you utilize certain flexes or these types of things in order to, you know, better gain advantages in a best of 3 or a best of 5. And instead of having that conversation with me prior to Worlds when we're making the support tier list and the ADC tier list and all these other types of things, he just scoffs at the notion that support ADCs should even be viable, even though he is one of the best ADCs in Europe. So, and this is also one of my best friends in esports, right? Who is very familiar with engaging with me, and you know, very familiar with like how I'm gonna talk and how I arrive at conclusions. But even he's not doing his honest job. It's just nauseating, man. These people play one game, they have experience with one game, and even their perception of the one game is so limited through the lens in which they view it. Can't even entertain things that like other games would be able to.
But also, as you pointed out earlier, Dagda,
Like they work one muscle. It's like they work their bicep. They can't even fathom what it is to, you know, gain access to other muscles. Like, I don't. Thanks for letting me get that out, Sam. Thank you.